Hi guys, it's Crimson Butterfly here for TogetherweR Wednesdays. The topic for this week is binging. So binging is, if you don't know, which I'm sure a lot of people do, it's when you eat a lot in an uncontrolled way. There can be several reasons for binging. I think sometimes people find that when they've been restricting their intake for a lot of days, weeks, they start craving food, and basically it's your body's way of trying to make you eat food because your body needs calories to function. And all through human evolution, your body's gone through when people have gone through natural periods of starvation, they would then, when there was food, they would fill up and eat as much as they can for times when it wasn't food. So when people go through periods of severe restriction, you do get cravings, and binging can happen because, like I said, it's your body's innate way of trying to get the food that it requires, the nutrition it requires. Also, the other cause of binging can be emotional. Sometimes people equate food with emotions, when they're feeling upset or angry, or something bad happens, or even something good happens. Sometimes people will respond by binging. So there's an emotional trigger. It's not necessarily the food that they want, it's more of the comfort that they're craving, and they feel they get the comfort from the food. I think binging happens, it's all happened to everyone at some point. You've eaten too much, you've eaten things that you wouldn't have wanted to eat, you've eaten when you're not hungry for an emotional reason, and it can be quite upsetting, even more after, if you've been restricting and you binge and you feel like you've fallen off, or even if you've been recovered and you binge sometimes, because it does happen, happens to everyone, binging. So yeah, sometimes it can be quite emotional when you've been eating well, or normally, or sticking to whatever plan you have, and you binge. And natural response is, well, I've eaten too much now, so I must restrict my intake, which can then trigger you back into your eating disorder. So I think the best thing to do is to maybe have a glass of water, or a cup of tea or something, and sit down and just relax. Don't like sometimes, especially if you have a purging disorder, either you bulimia, or purging anorexia, or anything like that. So if your way of compensating by eating a lot previously was by a method of purging, try and distract yourself for a given period afterwards, so you're not likely to purge. I don't know, go for a walk, put a DVD on, maybe ring someone, anything to kind of like avoid the purging. Sorry, I've got the cat here. So yeah, other methods would be, again, you could over-exercise, so again, try something distracting, so you're not going to try and work it off. Yeah, and obviously another, as I was saying before, another natural thing is to try and restrict your calories later on, or say for example you binge at lunchtime, you're like, right, I'm not going to have dinner. Or if you binge in the morning, well, I'm not going to have lunch, or I'm only going to have this for lunch. The best thing to do is sorry, the cat's trying to bite me. So the best thing to do would be to not restrict. Eat whatever you're intending to eat for lunch or for dinner. If you're really, I would say though, if you're really not hungry when it comes to your next meal, maybe then plan a snack later on. So so say your lunch is say you binge in the mid-morning and you're not hungry at exactly 12 when you have your lunch normally, maybe push it back a little bit so when you're eating when you're hungry. What else? So that's some tips, I suppose. I think also I know it's easy to say, but don't beat yourself up over binging, because it's something that happens and you can't undo it. Once it's happened, it's happened. So you need to, I suppose, as I say, pick yourself up and move on, and try to keep pushing forward, because in recovery it's not a linear line. You don't go from eating disorder to not eating disordered like that. It's up and down, and like I said, try not to let that binging instance push you back. Try and learn from it. Learn from maybe find out why you binged. Maybe you were subconsciously, without realizing, cutting back on your food. Maybe you had a emotional day. I don't know. Always look at the reasons behind your actions. What else? I can't really think of anything else to say. So just basically, don't let it trigger you back. Try and sort of keep pushing forward. Yes, you've slipped up a little bit, but you haven't gone completely back. Keep pushing on. So the question of the week is, what is something that your eating disorder has taken away that you are trying to get back, or are getting back? I suppose for me, a lot of the times when I was more in my eating disorder, I didn't, even though I still had friends, I would not go out for meals with them. I would say, yeah, I'll come, and then I would make up an excuse, I'm not feeling well, or something's come up, I can't go, and then afterwards I would hear them like talking about when they went out and what meal they went for, or and so said this, and they'll be chatting about it, and you kind of feel a bit left out, because you stayed at home while everyone else was out having fun. So like nowadays I don't do that. When I go out for a meal with friends, it's more enjoyable, because also previously, even if I did go out with a meal with them, I was so wrapped up in how many calories I was having. I would go online if the restaurant had a menu online and try and work out what was the lowest calorie thing to eat, how much I was going to eat, what drinks I was going to have, which was usually like a Diet Coke or something like that. Even if we weren't going out for a meal, if we were going out for drinks, I would plan what drinks I would be allowed to have. Usually vodka and Coke, Diet Coke, because it's so like, and then like I would either restrict beforehand, maybe the day or the day before, maybe the day after. I'd be so wrapped up in working out like what I would allow myself to have, and even when I was out, I would always be sort of making sure that, you know, like that I was only having as much as I was allowed to have. That, you know, you don't really enjoy yourself, and you know, you're not really spending time with your friends because you're so busy wrapped up in your head, you know, thinking calories and how much weight you're going to gain and how you're going to try and, you know, rectify it and all that kind of stuff, that you're not really with your friends. So like I said, nowadays I tend not to do that. I tend to, you know, just try and enjoy the meal. I try to choose something that I would like to eat, not something that's, you know, not necessarily work out what the lowest calorie thing is. Try and think, what do I want to eat? So yeah, so spending, I suppose, socialising and actually spending time with friends. When I was in my eating disorder, I really didn't do it that much, or didn't enjoy it. It's like my friend, she has tea parties, which she bakes loads of cakes and stuff, and I have previously, when I've gone to her tea parties, like you know, I would barely eat the cakes. I mean, it's nice because she allows people to take stuff home with her, but I'll take more stuff home with me than I would eat. You know, I might eat one like cupcake, and she would have all these cupcakes which look so lovely and nice, and you're not, like I said again, you're not really enjoying being in the moment with your friends and enjoying the fun of it and chatting, because you're too busy thinking about, oh my god, how many calories have I just eaten? Oh my god, this has got, you know, all this crap in it. You know, try not to freak out in front of your friends, you know, because you don't want them to know that you're freaking out. So yeah, so that was, you know, one thing that I am getting back now, is actually socialising and, you know, actually enjoying myself with friends, and not thinking about the calories and the food, and, you know, just enjoying being with people. So yeah, that's answering the topic and question of the week for this week, and I shall see you all next week. Bye.